When it comes to stage communication, there are three questions that we ask ourselves before any of our communicators get on stage to start casting vision for what it is they're talking about. And you notice I said casting vision. We're not, because Pastor Craig preaches, and then the campus pastor or stage communicator intros the message and closes the service. We are not giving announcements. We are leading with vision, and that's very important to realize that it's not, hey, I'm just up there to convey information. No, we want to compel people to action because there's a reason why we're doing that. So three things we want to ask ourselves before we go on stage is, what do we want people to know? We want them to know that they care, that they matter to us, and we're happy they're here. A second thing you want to ask them is, what do you want them to feel? You want to connect with them emotionally because emotion spurs action. Emotion makes things happen. So number one, we want to ask them, what do we want them to know? Two, what do we want them to feel? And number three, what do we want them to do? Those three questions go through our minds every time we get on stage, and we want to go through each one of those steps in our communication, regardless of how long or short that communication is. So when it comes to connecting with people emotionally and making sure you're engaging when you're talking to folks from stage, it's important to acknowledge that you don't want to go at the same pace all the time, because there is no fast unless they're slow. There is no loud unless they're soft. And what makes fast is you bring some slower pace to your communication. That keeps the audience and keeps the congregation, if that's what you call them, in tune with what you're communicating and how you're saying things. And a lot of times, something that folks will do that we found to be very effective is a well-timed pause is just as important as a well-crafted statement or thought, because that pause will make the whole room zoom into what you're saying and what you're communicating. Other things that help out when it comes to communication is body language and how you are moving when you are talking about something. So if you're being very emphatic and you're using maybe a faster pace or a louder volume for something, that your body language matches that. And if you're really, really quiet, same way, your body language will match that. And another thing that really helps the audience hone in on what you're saying, for instance, say you have a service that you're needing to get people out of because you're too full and you need to create room for new people to be able to come to your church. When you're casting vision and giving them reasons why they can be a contributor to seeing more people coming to know Christ by getting out of that service and going maybe to a less attended one, if you have a stool or a bench on stage and you're beginning to talk and you say, you know what, there's something I want to share with you, and you just pull a stool up to the front of the stage and you sit down, the entire room is going to be honed in on what you're going to say and listen intently, because they're like, man, that guy or girl, they have something they want to say and I need to listen, and we can effectively communicate that way. So in summary, three things you want to ask yourself every time you're communicating from stage is, what do I want the audience to know? What do I want the congregation to know? Two, what do I want them to feel? And three, what is it that I want them to do and use? Faster pace, slower pace, different types of volume, and good body language to reinforce everything you're saying. We found it effective, and hopefully you will too.